I saw in the visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him, given him and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him, an everlasting dominion which shall pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Let this mind be in you, which was also in who in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. And being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Wherefore God also hath highly exalted him, and given him a name which is above every name, that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow, of things in heaven, and things in earth, and things under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that is Lord, to the glory of God the Father.
So Yahushua, when he comes back, he's pained to come and take this place out. Why do you think the scriptures say that shall rock to and fro drunk? What type of devastation is it going to take that's going to make the whole world rock back and forth? Scripture said so great an earthquake as never was seen before. So you have to imagine the amount of anxiety and frustration that one has, and when you're able to let it loose without any interference, man, you better get out that person's way, you know. And Esau gonna try to head right to the Lord, and the Lord's gonna fuck shit up.
For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Noble honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Hashem Shai. Okay, and what I want to get into this morning is dealing with the King of Kings, all right, Yahweh Shai. You know, because when you go into the Bible, the scriptures is centered around, you know, two nations, okay, two brothers, Jacob and Esau, that will eventually, you know, become nations in the earth, okay, and the timeline of these two nations, all right, is pretty much what the whole Bible is centered around. And the end game, okay, is for Yahweh Shai to become King of Kings, all right, Lord of Lords, okay? And we're going to go into the timeline and see the build up to it. And we have to understand particular things in history, okay, particular things in prophecy, and it leads to Yahweh Shai becoming King of Kings. And that's what this thing was all about, okay? Because that's going to be the end of the end game. Because after Yahweh Shai, okay, is made King of Kings and Lord of Lords in the earth. That's it. That's how that's how the earth will be ruled from here on out. Okay, through Yahweh Shai, righteous rulership on the throne of David, with the governing body of Israel, the 144,000, okay, and the rest of our people, being a part of what? Their ruling nation. Okay, we will be a nation of nobility. Every brother in their order, okay, with their wives and children, okay, of their house, man. And this is what this thing is leading up to. So let's start off. Let's go to the scriptures, okay, and let's build up, all right, to Yahweh Shai, becoming King of Kings, Um, let's get into it. Now let's go, all right, to the blessings of Jacob and Esau, okay. Now, when you go to Genesis 27, all right, when Jacob pretty much supplanted the blessing, but in the spirit, it was Jacob's anyway. That's why Yahweh Bashem Shai didn't intervene, when it happened. The Most High didn't intervene when Jacob got the blessing from Isaac because it was ordained. Okay? This is Genesis 27. I'll read to it. And it was all set up in the spirit, I started at 1, I just read down, This is Genesis 27:1. It says, and it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here I am. And he said, behold, I am old. I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver and thy bow, and go out into the field and take me some venison, and make me savory meat such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son, and Esau went into the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison and make me savory meat that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord Yahweh before my death. Okay, so Isaac, sent Esau on a mission, okay, to go what, man, hunt for food and bring it back, and he will bless him. But Rebekah is hearing this, okay, and the spirit had her to put a play together for Jacob, okay. And it says, now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless, all right, thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will feel me and shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son, only obey my voice and go fetch me them. So Rachel already, I mean, Rebecca had a play. You know, she pretty much, she like, don't even worry about that. You know, just listen to me. I got you. You know, so you tell of the spirit, you know, was on Rachel, not Rachel, it's like Rebecca, okay, to put this together, man. You know, this is what the Lord wanted. It says, and he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebecca took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave him savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hands of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, my father. He said, here I am. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, thy power, brought it to me. Okay, so I was like, how did you get back so fast? Okay, and Jacob like, you know, Lord bless me, you know, which in the spirit, the Lord was working with this strategy, man. All right, because it was always set up for Jacob. It says, and Isaac said to Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, the voice of Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. Okay, and he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother's Esau hands. So he blessed him. And he said, art thou my son, my very son Esau? He said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine. All right, and he drank. Okay, and let's see. All right, verse 26, and it says, and his father Isaac said unto him, come near, all right, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, see, the smell of my son is the smell of the field, which the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai hath blessed. Therefore, the Most High give thee the dew of heaven. So this is Jacob getting his blessing now. Okay, this is Jacob getting his blessing, and really, pretty much, when you go into covenants, okay, covenants will be as an agreement. Okay, and then, you know, when you go into the New Testament, when Yahushua broke bread with the disciples and drunk wine, okay, he proclaimed that it was the new covenant. Okay, this is spiritual, man. Now, when you go to when you read on, now this is Jacob getting the blessing. It says, therefore the Most High give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Now the dew of heaven, okay, is pretty much the rulership of the earth, because the dew touches everything. You know, there's nothing that the dew, all right, doesn't cover in the morning, man. Okay. Let's see if they give us any more. See, does it give us something in the translations? All right. Now, in New Living, it says, from the dew of heaven and the richness of the earth. Okay. The resources. You see? May the Most High always give you abundant harvest in grain and bountiful new wine. Okay? So this is rulership, man. When you control the resources, this is a rulership. Now he's making it's a saying, plenty of corn and wine, but there's resources. That's rulership, man. Yeah, he can't list, he wasn't gonna list all the resources in the earth, in his precept. So this is a saying that covers all resources, man. Okay. And if you control the resources, you control the earth. Okay. Let's see. And the fatness of the earth, the goodly parts, because just as Esau Edom, he stays in the plush parts of the earth now, because he was blessed, with the dew of heaven and fatness of the earth, which we're going to get. Okay. But one blessing is temporal and one blessing, all right, is eternal. Esau was never promised an eternal kingdom, because you were reading and you be like, well, they got the same blessing, almost the exact same blessing. But see, when you read the scriptures, there's a promise of an eternal blessing to Jacob, and there's a promise of a destruction of the house of the wicked. Okay, so let you know that one is temporal and one is eternal. All right. Now when you go keep reading, it said, therefore the Most High gives you the dew of heaven, that's the earth, and the fatness, all right, of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone, all right, that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee, man. All right, so this is let people serve thee. Okay, so we was blessed, all right, to have nations to serve us, man. It's a blessing from Yahweh by Shema Shai. Okay, and we speak about the good news. This is what we're saying, man. We're getting into the rulership aspect of the scriptures, man. Okay, people serving us is part of the blessings. Okay, as the chosen people, all right, that's part of our eternal blessing, man. Okay, now when you go into that word serve, which is what abad in the Hebrew. Okay, and what does it say? It says to work, to serve, to labor, to work, to do work, to work for another, to serve another, all right, by labor. Okay, to serve another by labor. You see that? To serve as subjects. All right. And that's part of the promise, man, that we're coming into, man. And these nations will, all right, have to serve the nation of Israel, and it's going to be eternal, man. And that first 1,000 years, it's going to be tough, okay, until that energy of Esau Edom is eradicated from the earth, and he's going to be physically eradicated from the earth, man. Okay, then it's going to lighten up, but they're still there. These nations are going to be in servitude eternally, man. All right, and we're going to get precepts to prove that. Now, that's the blessing of Jacob. All right, now let's deal with Esau. It says, and it came to pass as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from hunting, and he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, the firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who? Where is he that have taken venison and brought it to me? And I had eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him, yeah, and he shall be blessed. So, hey, Isaac confirmed it. You see, the end of this precept is very heavy, okay? Because he like, okay, I blessed Jacob, with the blessing, but this is Esau, whom I meant to give it to, okay, so called. So he like, I have blessed him, yeah, and he shall be blessed. It can't be changed. Then it was ordained in the heavens. When Isaac made that statement, yeah, and he shall be blessed, it means it was locked in the spirit. It wasn't no undoing. Okay. And what we see Esau doing is trying to undo this, man. Like he's tapping into CERN. It ain't just about opening portals. This man is trying to go back to where he can try to undo this, man. Okay. He's trying to undo this. This is what we're seeing playing out today. All right, this is why he goes so deep into his science and technology, and he's all into protons and hydro colliders, and this man is really trying to undo this. The guy gene, he's all into DNA. He's trying to undo this, man. Okay, it says, and when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, it is not he rightly named Jacob, which is Yaakov, I was a supplanter. For he have supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright. Oh, you sold it. Okay. You sold that birthright. All right. Show you that Esau's a damn liar, man. All right. That's matter of fact, let's get it, man. Okay. Nigga sold the birthright, man. Okay. Cause he didn't have patience, man. Okay, and you didn't, and you Esau had no respect to the birthright. Okay, now this is I started 27. It says, and the boys grew. This is Genesis 25 and 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Okay, and then why was the spirit on Rebekah, to have this love for this favor for Jacob? Okay, because they play. All right, that the Most High put together in the spirit for Jacob to get the blessing, the rightful heir. Okay, and Jacob sighed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. All right, therefore was his name called Edom. Okay, which goes into red. Okay, because the meat wasn't even done. And that same token is a token to these devils today, man. Them bloody ass steaks they be eating, man. That's a token. All right. You got now Edomite. Then you had niggas be trying to do that to try to impress, Esau, Edom, but that's Esau nature, man. Okay. It says, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. Now, Jacob is asking, he didn't force Esau to do anything. But listen to Esau's response. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? And what profit shall this birthright do to me? Okay. So he didn't care about the birthright like that. He was concerned about the right now. He sold out. Okay. He sold the birthright for a meal, for instant gratification, man. Just as he gets Jake to do today. Okay? And showing you that this is the always been the spirit of these Edomites. Let's get that in Job. Okay? He said, what profit is it? He said, what profit the birthright to me? I believe it's 21, might be 20. Job 21, all right, and 14. I start at 13. It says they spend their days in wealth, and this is Esau Edom, always concerned about the now, and in a moment go down to the grave. Therefore they say unto the Most High, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. Listen to this. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? Okay? Esau has always been in that energy of what does it profit him to serve the Most High? And that's why he had no regard for the birthright. Okay? He was concerned about the right then. Okay? So you see, it's the same energy throughout the Bible with Esau Edom. Okay? And that's how we know who is who, man. So go back to Genesis. Let's get Esau blessing, and then we'll carry on. And I pray this is making sense. If you got any questions, just ask on the comment board. Okay, because I said we're gonna walk through the timeline. It's gonna lead up to the the King of Kings, the main event. But I pray this is making sense. Let me get a con or a thumbs up. If y'all good so far. I want to make sure everybody, is understanding as we go through this. Go back to Genesis. Okay. All right. Y'all good? Okay. Let's ride out. All right. So let's get back in Genesis 27 chapter. All right. So this is Genesis 27. Okay. And 34. It says, and when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even also my father. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, not his name rightly called Jacob, for he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, that nigga lied. And behold, now he have taken away my blessings. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord. Okay. So Isaac is telling Esau that Jacob is your Lord. Okay. Let's get this word Lord. Get this word Lord. And Esau hate this, man. Good grief. All right, in the Hebrew, this terms look like Gabaria. Gabaria. Okay. All right, and it says Lord. All right, ruler. All right, a master. You see? So pretty much is ordained in the heavens, okay, for us to be Lord over these devils, but we fail due to our disobedience. Okay, let's get a couple precepts on that. And that's why you seen, Solomon made this statement, as he was seeing the vision. There you go, Sirach 10, okay, and 5. It says, There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, which is in the earth, as an error which proceeded from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich, all right, sit in low place. I have seen servants upon horses, okay, in positions of power. Esau, Edom, okay, is a damn servant, and princes walking as servants upon the earth, man. So we're in the position of servants walking upon the earth, but we're really princes, man. Okay, and it was ordained in the heaven for us to be lords, but our disobedience made us the tail and not the head. Okay, but obedience is going to bring us back to the head. Okay, let's get this. You know, we always get this and we get back. This is Psalms. All right, 1. All right, this Psalms 122. All right, and 5. It said, "For there are set thrones of judgments, the thrones of the house of David." Okay, there are set thrones of judgment, man, because it's ordained. All right, Isaac just told Esau, "Look, he gonna be your Lord, man." Let's see the word "set." If he give us some, like Yeshab in Hebrew, what they say, yeah, Yeshab. Okay, all right, and you get the definition is to remain, to stay. Okay, it says to set, to place, to cause to sit. Okay, to cause to sit. So there's set thrones, okay, of judgment for the house of David. So Yahweh Shema Shai is going to cause their rulership to remain, okay? But we fell away for disobedience. And now the Lord is going to bring it back eternally, man. All right, now let's finish this blessing. And we're going to. All right, this is Genesis 27:37. Isaac answered and said to Esau, "Behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for thy servants." Okay, your whole nation. Okay, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? So Isaac is pretty much telling Esau that he gave Jacob everything, man. Okay, your brother got everything, even you. Okay. It says, and Esau said to his father, "Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. So niggas still crying and whining. All right. It says, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, "Behold, our dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. So it's the same blessing, all right, but it's temporal. Okay. And how he will get it, you know, will be different from how we will get it. Now, this is Genesis 27:40. It says, "And by the sword shalt thou live." Okay? By the sword shall Esau live, man, because you look at his rulership, it was nothing but war. Okay? His rulerships consisted of nothing but war after war after war. You know, as the Greeks, as the Romans. Okay? Alexander died, you know, from constant war, man. And the Lord finally took him out. But you go to Alexander, he was constantly at war. Okay, the Romans, they was constantly at war. You see, during the Renaissance, man, this man was constantly at war, man. He lives by this sword. You see, when you go to the time of David, when David conquered and handed the kingdom to Solomon, Solomon had peace. Okay, because the war was won. You see, but this man is always at war. You know, even when people, all right, matter of fact, Let's get this in Psalms. You see, when everything was put under Solomon's feet, you know, Solomon was chilling. With this guy here, okay, let me find it. But this guy here, you know, he lives by the sword. He never stops. He has no stop. You know. Let me see. All right, this Psalms, all right, 55 and 20. It says, he put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He have broken his covenant. And that's how Esau Edom gets down, man. Let's read a little bit more. So you can be at peace. You can be subjugated to this man, and he will still make war with you, man. Okay? So let's read again. He have put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He have broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war is in his hearts. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Why? Because it was said he will live by the sword. Okay? Because pretty much these nations have been tapped out to Esau Edom. You know, nation didn't want no smoke with Esau, man. You know, as he was coming into power. All right. But this man was always at war. He was always looking for a reason and excuse to pull out the sword, man. You know, and we're seeing why. Okay. And by thy sword shalt thou live and shalt serve thy brother. Okay. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominions, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Okay. Because we had Esau Edom, you know, in captivity, you know, before. Okay. But eventually he will break their yoke and he will come into power, man. Because when you look at the earth, it's a power struggle between Jacob and Esau, man. Okay. And these other nations will get involved and they will have rulerships, you know, from here and there. Okay. But the main power struggle is with Jacob and Esau, man. Okay. And this is the energy that Esau has had since then. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. Okay. So this is the energy that Esau has kept since that time. All right. And these elites understand the blessing that we have. The elites know that we have an eternal blessing that's promised. This is why they're so hardcore to try to, you know, go back in time and, you know, change the DNA of everybody and, you know, do these things. He's trying to upset that blessing, man. Okay. And when you go into the different time periods, it was always leading up to this time. Okay. When you go to Hebrews, no, it's 11. It's a lot. Hebrews the 11th chapter. This brother Bayan Yasha Allen said research conducted by Yang Group of Geo Television Network reveals that the United States has been at war for 225 or 243 years since its inception in 1776. Yeah, this man, that's all the nigga know, man. Okay, he lived by that sword, man. You know, when he wants to make a change, Everything that this man peace, like the brother L.R. Warman at Birmingham say, this man has peacekeeping troops. Okay, nigga send a Navy destroyer to your coastline in the name of peace, man. Okay, that's all he know, man. He built. That's how he built. Now you go to Hebrews 11:20 said, by faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come, and it was for this time. By faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come, because it will come down to Esau being in power at the end. Okay, he's in the fulfillment of his blessing. Okay, going back to Genesis 27, and then we would come into the fulfillment of our blessing through taking Esau Edom's empire down, and we're going to prove it. Okay, so let's deal with Esau Edom now. Let's go here. You have to understand, a little history. All right, so let's get this in. In fact, we get this in Daniel first, then we go there. So when you go to the book of Daniel, okay, and what we're going to see is the same narrative, okay, always playing out. All right. Now, when you go Daniel, the 7th chapter, it goes to the vision of the 4 beasts. Okay. And you have, the Syrian Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire. All right. The Greeks, which is the leopard. Okay. And then you go, all right, into the 4th beast. Okay. This is Daniel 7-8, and this was the pagan Roman Empire. It says, I considered the horns and beheld, there came up among them another little horn. Okay, matter of fact, I started 7. So like, this is Daniel 7-7. It says, after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. Okay, the great military of the ancient pagan Roman Empire. It devoured and break in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. Yeah, because that Roman Empire was just consuming, other empires through war. Okay, and were making them tributary. And it was diverse from all the other beasts. Yeah, it had the Senate. Okay, it had the political parties. It had Caesars. Okay, it had elected officials. Okay, because these other empires, they had what you call monarchies, man. And the monarchies ruled through patriarchy, all right, of the king. Okay, and the kingship will be will go through what? The lineage of that king. Okay. And it says, and it had great iron teeth, and devoured and break in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns, man. That's those 10 vessels. Okay. Of the ancient pagan Roman Empire, when you go into like the Vandals, the Franks, the different vassals, that will receive benefits of, being in league, with the Romans, just like these nations receive benefits today of being in league with the NATO and the EU. Okay, so this is that 7 beasts, that pagan Roman Empire. Now, I'm gonna leave it there. And I'm gonna go to Revelation. I'm gonna come back to Daniel. Now, when you go to Revelation, all right, 13th chapter. It's Revelation 13:1, and it says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, okay, having 7 heads and 10 horns." Okay, going back to what, man? that Roman Empire, man. Okay, and now it's going into this whole Edomite power structure. Okay, this beast is speaking of this whole Edomite power structure, the 7 heads. Matter of fact, let's get this picture. All right, let me show this picture real quick. This is that beast. Okay, this is pretty much, like I said, Esau's power structure throughout his existence. You know, like brothers say, that serpent, turned into a 7-headed dragon with 10 horns, man. All right, let me see if I can. Okay, let's see. Okay, and this is that beast. Okay, so as you can see, you have Germania Major. All right, the Romans, the French. Okay, the Spanish, Germania Major. Okay, the British and the Greeks. Okay, and then when you go into the 10 horn nations, you have Belgium, Denmark, French, Italy. All right, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Greece, Ireland, England, and West Germany. Okay, these are these 10 horns. Okay, and what we've seen today in this time is that ancient that beast of Daniel the 7th chapter. You know, it was wounded, but then what? It came back. Okay, during the Renaissance, and this is what emerged. This is Esau in the fulfillment of his blessing in Genesis 27 chapter. The dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth, it was fulfilled through this beast system. Okay, this is Esau Edom fulfilling that blessing in Genesis 27 chapter through this beast system. Okay, now let's go back to the scripture. All right, this is Revelation 13:3. And it says, "And I saw one of his heads." Remember, we seen the head. Okay, one of the heads was the Romans, as it were wounded to death, and his daily wound was healed, and that was during the Renaissance. Okay, and all the world wondered after the beast. Yeah, because when you go to Micah, because his head was wounded during the Dark Ages, and it was healed during the Renaissance. Okay, because there was a seal put on Esau Edom where he couldn't come into power. Okay, and then the pagan Roman Empire became what they call the Holy Roman Empire, ran by Jake. All right, and what they call the Dark Ages. You see, Constantinople. Which that's a history. You can research. You go into Constantine. What they call Constantine the Great. And his sons, and the dynasty that they had called the Holy Roman Empire. But that's when Esau, all right, he was wounded. The pagan Edomite Roman Empire, was wounded. Okay, and the scriptures speak of that in Malachi, all right, chapter 1. So now we're living in the period of that great wound was healed. Now we're living in the period where that wound that was healed is ruling in the earth, man. Okay, this beast system. Okay. Now this is Malachi 1:1. This is proof that what the Bible is centered around, okay, the Jacob and Esau, okay, the rivalry of Jacob and Esau. Okay. It said the burden of the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah to Israel by Malachi. It said, I have loved you, said the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, yet you say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? So why is Malachi even speaking about Esau and Jacob? Because you gotta remember at this time, we wasn't in power. Okay, this was during the time, of the Persians. Okay, and Esau was not in power. Okay. So why is this being discussed about these two men? Okay, because everything is centered around the rivalry of these two men. Okay, it says, I have loved you, said the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, said the Lord, yet I love Jacob. Okay, and that's why Jacob was blessed. This is letting you know it was set up for Jacob to get the blessing. If the Most High, okay, when you read verse 13, and I hated Esau. So the Most High states that he hated Esau. Why would Esau get the birthright of an eternal rulership? Okay, letting you know it was all set up from the beginning. Okay, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Okay, and that's when that's when that Roman Empire, that pagan Roman Empire, received that deadly wound. Okay. It said, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, which they've done, the Renaissance period. Okay. They shall build, but I will throw down. That's going to be through your house shot. You're going to get it. And they shall call them the border of wickedness and the people against the Lord, all right, whom the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah have in the nation forever. Now, let's get this here. It was always prophesied that this man would come back into power. Okay, but he will have an end. Let you know it's a difference between the rulership of Esau and the rulership of Jacob. Now, it's Revelation 21. It says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven. All right, and it's Yahweh Shah who has a spirit, to put nations in captivity. Okay, now when you go also into the history of Septimius Severus, okay, which I think the name goes into the sever of seven. A brother can fact check me, if they know that your brother can put that up there, the meaning of that name Septimius Severus, which was a Jake, who played a major part in the beginning, taking down, pagan Rome. Okay. It says having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. Yeah. And that chain, okay, is what does a chain do? It restricts you. If you put a dog on a chain, that dog has just become very restricted. It's only so much he can do. He only has, based on the length of the chain, okay, that's his restriction. Esau was restricted in his time, man, from what? Being in rulership. Okay, in that bottomless pit, speaking of Europe, because of his lack of resources. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, let you know that there was also the serpent back in the garden. Okay, and that's why you see pretty much the serpent philosophy ruling the earth. Okay, that anti-Messiah, because the serpent was very anti-Messiah, and that's what he brought to Eve. Okay. So now we see that the earth is being ran by this serpent mindset. Okay. It says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, the deceiver, and Satan, the adversary, and bound him 1,000 years. That's when he was impoverished. He was put out of power. Okay. Verse Verse 3, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years be fulfilled. And after this he must be loosed a little season. And we are within that little season when this man has been loosed. Okay? And when you jump down to verse 8, verse 7, okay, and this is the Renaissance period, when he's loose for that little season. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loose out of his prison. Okay? That's when he started to come back into power, you know. And then all them power moves, you know, especially when you go into like 14. Well, first when the Ottoman Turks, those Edomites took down, you know, Constantinople in 1453. Okay. And then in that same century, you know, about, you know, 35, 30, about 39, yeah, 39 years later, in 1492, you had the fall of Granada, okay, which those Spanish, you know, Edomites took down, you know, the Moorish Empire, okay. And in 1492, what did you have? Christopher Columbus coming to the New World. So Satan was loosed. Okay. And what did they do? They began conquering. All right. And verse 8, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. And that's where you have this European colonization, which we're going to get there. Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is the same that the sea. Yeah. So it goes into his rebirth. Okay, will be him going throughout the earth deceiving, and that Christianity, Roman Catholicism, okay, was a major way that he deceived the earth, man. I know, because he made the Bible into his image. Okay, and that's one of the greatest deceptions in the earth. And you have Christianity being the biggest religion, but it's under the narrative of Esau Edom, the deceptive doctrine of Esau Edom. Okay, where he's the supreme being and he's the chosen one. Okay, and he's the image of God. Okay, but it's going to end with Gog and Magog, which is Russia. Okay, which is going to jumpstart the war that will end Esau's empire, man. Okay, and let's get this real quick to link it up. It's going to be the same narrative throughout the Bible. When you go through prophecy, the same narrative. This man coming into power, and then it talks about the end of this man's power. Then you know it's a temporal blessing. When you go back to Revelation 13, okay, 13:2, and it says, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard," and it goes back to the Greeks because this is the beginning, all right, of Esau, all right, having, you know, a global dominance in the earth was through the Greeks when they took down the Persian. Okay, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, which goes back into Russia because what, your feet represents the end of a thing. Okay, so just like it said how they would go forth to deceive the nation, but Gog and Magog will be gathered together for the battle. Okay, so the beginning of his empire began with the Greeks. Okay, of Esau really just having a global dominance in the earth. Okay, it was of the known world at that time. Okay, he dominated the known world through the Greeks. All right, and in this time he dominated the globe. All right, through what, man? that beast. Okay, that dragon. That deadly wound that was healed, that Renaissance period, he really fully tapped into his blessing, man. Because you gotta think, we had a portion of our blessing during the time of David and Solomon. We was ruling, you know, the known world, okay, for that little period of time. And Esau had a small portion of his blessing as the Greeks and the Romans that was ruling the known world at that time. Okay, but now we're seeing Esau in the fulfillment of his blessing. Okay, and it will always lead to what? Russia's jump starting a world war. Okay, and in the midst of World War III, who gonna show up? Yahweh Shai. So it all lead to Yahweh Shai becoming King of Kings, man. Okay, it says in his mouth, okay, as the mouth of a lion, and that goes into the elites, man. Okay, mainly out of London, which that controls the policies of this beast system. Okay, this is the mouthpiece. Okay, this beast system. Okay, it says, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority, man. So they get their energy from the ancient pagan Roman Empire, man. And that's why you see this society is modeled. You know, the infrastructure, the script, the script malls, the gladiators. You know, the modern gladiators, the sports. Okay, poetry was, you know, big in ancient Rome, and poetry was, you know, it was lewd. Okay, just like the music of today. You see, they come in that same energy of Rome. Now, let's read down. All right, this verse 4. It says, and they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him. And when you love this society, when you love, you're pretty much in love with Rome. Okay, like I say, women's liberations. Okay, the alphabet people. Okay, people love status, people love clout, you know, self worship. All those things is big in Rome. Okay, you know, materialistic minded. You know, like I say, lewdness. You know, fame. You know, all those things were of Rome. Okay, so when you love this society, you're pretty much, you know, worshiping that ancient Roman Empire, man. Okay. It says, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months, which is showing you that his rulership is limited. You know, we're going through these precepts to show you that the scriptures always speak about, you know, a bounds on this man's rulership. You know, I think what brother can put that in Job 14:5. You know, let's get that in Job. All right. This is the book of Job, chapter 14, verse 5. Let's put that up there. You know, and this is all to show that this man's rulership is limited. Okay. It says, and he opened his mouth in blasphemy against the Most High, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and them that dwell in. And that's what he's been doing within his rulership, man. You know, false images of the Most High, false images of Yahweh Shai, false images of the prophets, okay, and then a false doctrine, okay, that he coupled with the Bible, a false narrative of the scriptures, and that's blasphemy, man. Okay, and it says, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints, which are who? The Israelites, showing you that what the power struggle was always between Jacob and Esau. Okay, because he took down, you know, other nations. Okay, but the head the and the main event was always between him and Jacob. Okay, when he came into power during the Renaissance, the first thing he did was start terrorizing Jake. You know, start enslaving Jake. Now let's get this in Job 14:5. It says, "Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee." See that? The number of his months are with thee. This man's rulership, all right, has a time expiration on it, man. It said, thou has appointed him, okay? Thou has appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. He's limited, okay? If a brother can put that, you know, the days of Israel is innumerable, okay? But we're seeing that this man has bounds, okay? And it says, Verse 7, it says, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, which we was overcome. That's why we're in captivity now. Okay. The Spaniards overcame, the northern kingdom, the Spanish and the Portuguese. Okay. The British, overcame a lot of the British and the French overcame what? The southern kingdom. Okay, that's why you have French influence in Haiti. Okay, a British influence in Jamaica. Okay, which is Benjamin. All right, Haiti going to the Levites. Then you have a Dominican Republic, a Spanish influence. Why? Because this beast system made war with the saints, man, and overcame. Okay, but it was due to our disobedience, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, man. Okay, and let's get that. Let's get that. We're gonna get. I got an article I want to get. Okay. The one, brother. It's the brother Bayan Yasha Allah. Ecclesiastes 37:25. It said, the days of the life of man may be numbered, but the days of Israel are innumerable. The days of Israel are innumerable. Okay. So we're seeing time restrictions and time frames put on Esau's rulership, but the days of Israel are innumerable. And we're going to prove that when we get to Israel. Now, let's get this real quick, and then I got an article I want to pull up. Because it said what power was given him over nations, kindreds, and tongues, man. Okay, all nations. Okay. But his prize was when, he had us in captivity. Now you go to Revelation 17. Okay. Now, it started at 1. It says, and there came one of the 7 angels which has the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore which sit upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth had committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth had been drunken with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names, having blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So this is America riding on this beast, which means what? She pretty much is in the power seat, because even when you go to NATO, America, sponsors 75% of all NATO military spending. Okay, and that's why when you seen Trump was in office, he was talking noise and throwing his weight around, because he understood that America was pretty much, the superior of all these nations of NATO and the EU. Okay, and it says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearl, having a golden cup in her hand, full of the abominations of the filthiness of her fornication. Now, let's get this in Daniel, because it's speaking of what? America. Now, when you go into Daniel, the 7th chapter, America is spoken of as that little horn that would emerge from that 4th beast. Okay? This is Daniel 7:8, and it says, I considered the horns and beheld that came up among them another little horn, which is America, before whom were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Okay, and those 3 horns was the British, the French, and the Spanish. Because as we seen, the British, the French, and the Spanish, they kicked off the slave trade. Okay, and they, colonized a lot of these lands, okay, in the Western Hemisphere. Okay, but America would emerge, all right, through that revolution with the British. Okay, and then they will have a war with the French, and then they will have a war with the Spanish, and after that, America became, pretty much dominant, okay, in the Western Hemisphere, and they started to pretty much just take hold, all right, of these territories in the Western Hemisphere. Okay, and it was and they became superpower after World War II. All right, now so let's go back to Revelation 17, and this is why America is pretty much the topic when you read Revelation the 17th chapter. America is the pretty much the headline of this beast system that we're reading about. Okay, this is Revelation 17:5. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Okay, so America is known as what? Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, the abominations of the earth. Now, let's get this real quick. Mystery Babylon. Okay, and the mother just goes into the source. All right, source of something. All right, the Greek word matar. Now, when you go, all right, Hebrew origin, babal. Okay, but when you go into it, all right, which is confusion. Now, when you go into it, it says the definition C. It says allegorically of Rome as the most corrupt seat of idolatry and the enemy of what they call Christianity, but ultimately the enemy of righteousness, man. The enemy of Yahushua. Okay, allegorically of Rome. You see that? You know? So America, you know, is coming, is the most Roman influence, you know, nation in the earth, or that ancient, you know, pagan Roman Empire. You go back into what was happening during Rome, you know, they was putting hell on the followers of Yahushua. Okay? And we coming back into that time. See, but this time there's gonna be a standard. Okay? Then you know that it all goes back to that deadly wound that was healed. Okay, and America emerged, all right, as a superpower. Okay. And it says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Yeah, because you look at the genocides and the murder of Israelites that was happening here, like she was drunken. America is drunken off the blood, overwhelmed in it. Okay. Now, verse verse 7, it says, and the angel said to me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carry her, which have 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay. So now the angel finna tell you, all right, look, this is what's finna happen. All right. You marveling because there's a lot of people that marvel after America, man. You know, showing that John, you know, seen a woman, you know, that looked it good because America, all right, looked good from afar. That's why you had all these nations, you know, pretty much you know, risking their life to get over here, man. Okay. Admiring after America. That's why scripture also referred to as the well-favored harlot in the book of Nahum, the 3rd chapter. Now it said, the beast that thou sawest and is not, all right, Slocket, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. Okay. And that's the pagan Roman Empire going down. Okay. But then coming out of that bottomless pit, Europe, because they came from Europe to do what? Colonize the earth. It says, and go into perdition, okay, destruction, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names are not written in the book of life. Yeah, because if you're not of the elect, you're going to be enchanted, okay, by this rulership, you know, and that's what we're seeing now. The masses are being enchanted. The masses of our people, Israelites, are being enchanted. Okay, Eve got the mask on to this day. You know, trying to bring back Rome, man. It says, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they beheld the beast that was a pagan Roman Empire, and it's not, because that empire, you know, when you go to Italy, okay, and you go to Rome, that empire doesn't have that glory and splendor that it has. Okay, it says the beast that was, because they worshiping that energy from that ancient, you know, pagan Roman Empire, but that actual Roman Empire, when you go to Italy and go to Rome, you know, that glory of it is not there. The influence of actual Rome, the city, is not there. Okay, but then it says, and yet is. Why? Because it's living through what? America, NATO, and the EU, but mainly America. Okay. It says, and here is a mind which hath wisdom. The seven heads are seven mountains, which are seven governments, which we went over. Okay, Germania Major, Germania Minor. Okay, the Romans, the Greeks, the French, the Spanish, the Spanish. Okay, and and Britain, man. Okay. So going back, and it says, oh, so like, it says, and there are all right, read verse 9. It says, and here is the mind which have wisdom. The seven heads are seven mountains on which the woman sitteth. Okay. And there are seven kings, five are fallen, and one is. Yeah, because what you had was, let me see. Here you go. Because when you go into America, okay, America is pretty much of, okay, who? The British. Okay. America is an extension of that British Empire. All right. So you had those other heads, those other governments that would fall. All right. And America would come out of Britain. Okay. Let's see. All right. And there are seven kings, five are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue for a short space. And that's the British. Okay. And it says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is of the eighth, America, because America comes out of Britain, okay, and is of the seven, and goeth into prediction, which is what? Prediction, which is destruction, okay. And it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And that's these EU nations that benefit from this beast system. Because when you go into it, you know, you have to be allowed to trade on the global market. That's why America is able to put sanctions on all these nations. They're able to put sanctions on Russia, sanctions on Iran, sanctions on China, sanctions on, you know, these nations, okay, because they control global trade. You see, and these nations that are part of this beast system, these 10, okay, vassals, Belgium, Denmark, French, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Ireland, England, and West Germany, okay, they benefit, all right, from trade agreements with EU, okay, and NATO, okay, they benefit militarily, you know, they get different aids and weaponry, all right. Now, what I want to get real quick, I want to get an article to show you how this beast, is dominating the earth. All right, so this is a map. All right, dealing with all right, and it says European colonization conquered every country in the world but these five. It says it's not a secret that European colonization was vast and often devastating. All right, project that over several centuries put nearly the entire world, okay, under control of one European power or another. But just how vast, all right, but just how vast can be difficult to fully appreciate. It says here to give you a small sense of European colonization, massive scale, is a map showing every country put under partial or total European control during the colonial uh, era, which ran roughly from the 1500s to the 1960s. Only 5 countries in orange were spared. Okay, so when you go here, all right, let me see if I can blow the map up. Let me see how it look. I'm gonna try to blow it up a little bit so y'all can really see. Um, all right, so as you see the map, this is all these beach nations. Okay, 10 horn nation that have colonized the earth, man. Okay, you look in the green, this is colonized or controlled by Europe, and the purple in itself, that's Europe in itself. Okay, but look at that, all of this, man. Greenland, Canada, America, Mexico, Central America, South America, Africa, okay, India, all right. Then it says partial European control and influence. You got Saudi Arabia, okay. You got Australia. You see, you got China, all right. And the five, I think that's look like Iran, uh, I think Pakistan maybe, okay. But you see that power was given him over all kindreds and tongues, man. This is the fulfillment of him having the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth. Okay, but as we read, it's limited. Okay, Russia will be stirred up to kick off a war, all right, which will end this man's empire, because that's going to usher in the second coming of Yahushua. It's going to take down all these nations, man. Okay, I just wanted to show that so we can see, you know, this beast system, a visual of this beast system. Now, let's go from there. Let's get back into the precepts. So this is the current, there was a map of the current beast system, that we live in. Okay. So they read verse 12. Let me hold on. Get this precept back up there. All right, so you go to Revelation 17:12. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast." Yeah, and you see how everything has a time period. There's a limited time. Okay, everything is limited. Okay, when it talks about this man empire, I'm keep reiterating, prove that, yo, you read Genesis 27, we have, Jacob and Esau got similar blessings, okay, but it constantly speaks about a time period when it comes to Esau's blessing, man, okay, and he's in the fruition of his blessing. I said, these have one mind, okay, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, and that's where you get the EU, okay. Because the EU is a treaty. NATO, that's a treaty of nations to pretty much allow, okay, allow this beast system. Because see, you have to understand, like, the EU, they get affected by certain things that America does, because they got these agreements with America that, America has even put sanctions on on different EU nations before, man. Okay, but they decide to give their power to the beast so they can partake in the commonwealth, okay, of this beast system. Now we read and you see that, but we're gonna go back to 14. Okay. All right, this verse 15 says, "And he said unto them, the water which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes, nations and tongues. All right, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore which we're seeing now, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Okay, nukes. "For the Most High have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words, all right, of the Most High should be fulfilled." So it was a certain time period, okay, that the Lord wanted these nations in agreement, okay, and they will eventually turn and destroy America, okay, and then Yahushua is going to come and destroy them. You see, it's all the setup, and then the blessing of Jacob will begin, and it's going to be eternal. Okay, so now let's go to Daniel, the 2nd chapter, and let's segue into Yahushua. I knew this lesson was going to be kind of long, but gotta get it all out, man. This is Daniel chapter 2. I'll start at 36. Okay. It said, "This is a dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king." It says, "Thou, O king, art the king of kings." You see that? It's calling Nebuchadnezzar the king of kings. "For the Most High of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, and strength and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thy hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth." Okay, and it went into the Medo-Persian Empire, okay, which is, the arms and the chest, of iron, of silver, I mean, okay. But then you have the brass, which are the Greeks, Okay, in which that's going back into that leopard, and that was when Esau first had dominion over the known earth. Okay, and then it goes into Rome. It says, "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron." All right, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron thou, and said, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And there was that Roman Empire. All right, the legs of iron. Okay, and it says, "And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron," and this is the revamped Roman Empire of the NATO and EU. "The kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of iron some strong nations. For as much as thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay." So you have some strong EU nations and some weak. Okay, and you seeing what the division amongst these EU nations. Okay, that's why you had the Brexit, a few years back. And then you have other discrepancies with these EU nations. You got Germany pretty much, on the low. They, side with Russia, okay, making deals with, pipeline deals with Russia. Okay, some EU nations don't like that. So it's division. Okay, and it says, "And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken." Okay, now it says, "And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay." Now, this is the point. "And in the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom." See, now we're going to the transition. Because remember, if a brother can put that in, Second Ezra chapter 6 verses 7 through 8. See, now we're going into the transition. We went into the history of how Esau became a global dominant superpower and fulfilled his blessing. Okay, now let's transition to Yahushua. Okay, in the days of these kingdoms. So in this time will be the transition from the rulership of Esau to Jacob. In this time, we're gonna be Lord over Esau in this time. Now we finna come into the fulfillment of our blessing, man. The dew of heaven and the fatness of earth. Okay? And it says, "And in the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom." Now listen to this, "which shall never be destroyed." When we talk about Esau, Edom's rulership, there was always a time restraint on it. But when it talks about the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Israel, okay, what did it say? "Which shall never be destroyed." Okay, it says, "And the kingdom shall not be left to other people," because when you go into empires, pretty much power isn't destroyed, it's just transferred. Okay, the Babylonians pretty much absorbed the Assyrian Empire. The Medo-Persians pretty much absorbed the Babylonian empires. Okay, the Greeks, they came and absorbed the Persian Empire, and the Romans came and absorbed the Greeks. Okay, but see, this kingdom says what? "And the kingdom shall not be left to other people." All right, the kingdom, all right, that we're finna come into, it'll never be absorbed by another people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Okay, and it shall stand forever. All right, in the days of these kings. You see that? This is Second Ezra 6 and 7. It says, "Then answered I and said, What shall be the part asunder of times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?" See, Esau is the first, and we're witnessing the end of the first. Okay, because Esau is the first nation to have global dominance, man, over the whole globe. Okay, as we've seen during the European colonization. Okay, but now we're coming to the time of the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, this is why scripture said, "In the days of these kings." Okay, and it says verse 8, it says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, the same narrative, the two main characters. Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. And when you go into this statue, okay, what's gonna be destroyed? The heels. Okay. This is the ultimate Jake, Yahweh Shai, grabbing the heels of Esau kingdom and snatching it down. Okay. Verse 9. It said, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay. And this statue is a direct, okay, prophecy dealing with that, man. Esau, this is the end. This NATO, EU, okay, this new Roman Empire, this is the end of Esau's rulership. Okay. And ours is to follow directly after, man. Okay, that's why you've been seeing all these chariot sites, man, because you know, let's get it, brothers, lighten it up. This is on the brother Hope for 3. It said this is on Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealing, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people, okay, the Edomites, to another, all right, which is Jacob, okay, the tribes. You see? So let's go back, you know. This is 45. It says, for as much as thou sawest the stone was cut out of a mountain without hands, and the stone is how shot, and they break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and gold. Okay, the great power have made known to the king, all right, what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain. All right, just like what the Isaac say, you know, I blessed him, and yeah, he shall surely be blessed. So they said the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Okay, so we here, brother. We are at a kingdom, man. You know, the thing now is just patience and holding on, but we here, man. The interpretation thereof is sure. You see? So let's go back to Daniel 7. Because when it spoke about the little horn, what did it say? Right after, man. It's the same narrative all the way throughout. The rise, okay, of wickedness, the destruction of wickedness, and the righteous kingdom to follow after, man. Okay. This is Daniel 79. It says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down. Okay. And the Ancient of Days did sit, which is the Most High, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. Okay. Till the thrones were cast down. Okay. A fiery scream issued and came forth from him. Thousands of thousands ministered to him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. Those are the chariots, the angels. Okay, and they're just waiting on commandments from the Most High. They just, you know, on deck. You see, and it said the judgment was set and the books were open. You see, the Bible is a book of judgment. You see, the Bible is a book of judgment, man. So when we read these things, we're reading, you know, the judgment of these nations. And right now, the books are open. And that's why we see what things are happening, because it's leading to this judgment. It says, I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. All right, that's America. All right. So America has gotten so bad that the spiritual realm, you know, is got to get involved, man. Okay, their wickedness and blasphemy is made into the heavens, man. I beheld till the beast was slain. This whole beast system, NATO, EU, it's gonna be destroyed, man. And his body was destroyed and given to the burning flame. And Yahweh Shai is coming back with that fire, man. And then they're gonna be setting themselves on fire with these nukes, man. Okay. And saying as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away. Okay, the privilege that they enjoyed with the NATO and the EU, it was taken away. Yet their lives were prolonged, all right, for a season in time, man. Slavery. Okay. All right. Now you go to verse 14. Says, I saw in the night visions and beheld one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven and came to the Ancient of Days. How was Shah being brought to his father? Okay. It says, and they brought him near before him, and there was given him dominion and glory in the kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. And then Esau had that blessing. You know, you read in Revelation 13, you know, that he had power over all kindred tongues and nations. He had it, but it was temporal. Yahweh Shai's, all right, is eternal. All right, and it's gonna say his dominion is an everlasting dominion. Okay, which shall not pass away, and the kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. It's eternal. Okay, it is eternal, man. All right, so Esau received a similar blessing, but it was temporal. Okay, now I think the brother posted some things in Daniel, you know, then we get revelation and ride it out. Let me get down to Daniel. All right, this is Daniel 7 and 19. It says, then I will know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, breaking pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. So what you have, okay, is now they finna link the pagan Roman Empire to America, okay, and then the translation of kingdoms. It says, and the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, of before whom 3 fell, all right, and the other horns America, all right, even of their horn they had eyes, and their mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. Speaking of America, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. Okay, going back to what you know, the Renaissance period, when all right, Esau came back into power and enslaved the tribes, man, you know, and eventually colonized the earth. Okay, until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and at that time that the saints possessed the kingdom. The transition, man. Okay, now verse 26, it says, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominions to consume and destroy it until the end, and the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, which is the earth, shall be given to the saints of the Most High. So when we get Esau's kingdom, okay, when it's translated into Jacob, that's rulership of the earth. See, Esau dominated the earth just for us to come and take it, man. Okay, the ultimate supplant. He's going to be supplanted again. He went and did all this conquering and terrorizing the earth just for us to come take it, man. Okay, so we're going to have dominion over everything that the Esau currently has dominion over and more. Okay, we're going to absorb his global dominion, man. All right, it says, "And the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him." Okay, because the earth is going to be subjugated to the obedience of Yahweh Shema Shai through what, man? Okay, through his people. They beginning with Yahweh Shai and their governing body. Okay, the Heavenly Father is going to rule in the earth through his Son. Okay, through the 144,000. All right, and that's going to influence the whole earth in righteousness, man. You know, and it's going to be everlasting. So that's why when you get this, let's get Revelation 19. All right, Revelation 19. All right, and 2. It says, "For true and righteousness are his judgment, for he have judged the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and have avenged the blood of his servants in her hand." Yeah, so he's going to deal, Yahushua is coming to deal with this whore directly, man. Okay, and when you jump down to verse 11, it says, "And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and Truth, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself." So Yahweh Shai is coming to make war in righteousness with this beast, man. Okay? This is the prelude of Adam and the serpent. Okay? The serpent has grew into a seven-headed, dragon with 10 horns. And all right, and Adam is now, okay, Yahweh Shai. Okay, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Okay. And it says, "And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High." Now he's not going to have a bloody vesture, okay? That's symbolic that he's coming to shed blood with war, with their righteous war. Okay. It says, "And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, and out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treaded the winepress of the fierceness and the wrath of the Almighty power. And he had on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords." Okay, he's coming back to be the true King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, man. Dominion over all authority. Okay, and it says on his thigh, it means on his garment, because in the ancient world, you a man of status, you will have your rank on your garment. Well, his rank is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Okay, so let's get this in Revelation. You know, two more Revelation, we'll close it out. So when you go back to Revelation 17, all right. When Esau was built up just for Yahweh Shai to come run through it, man. Okay. Now it goes into the victory of the Lamb. It said these, and it goes into what? It's going to the EU, NATO, and America. "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them." Okay, because what does the scriptures say about how he overcame the saints? Okay, but when Yahweh Shai comes, the Savior, we're going to overcome him. Just like you said about Gad, the troop shall overcome, but Gad shall overcome at the last. That's going to be through Yahweh Shai. "For he is the Lord of Lords and King of Kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful," man. Okay? So this is Yahweh Shai fulfilling the promises of Jacob back in Genesis, the 27th chapter. Okay? We finna come to our fulfillment of that. Okay? And let's end it here, a little longer than expected, but you know, it feels good to get all of it out, you know. This is Revelation 11 and 14. It said the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Okay, and the third war is the third world's war. Okay, and the seven angels sounded, and there was great voices in heaven saying, the kingdom of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his anointed, and he shall reign forever and ever. Yeah, so the kingdoms of this world, which Esau Edom is pretty much the Lord over all the kingdoms of this world. But it said, look, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord, Yahushua, and his anointed, okay? And he shall reign forever and ever, everlasting, man. Okay. So I just want to go into that, man, and and build up, you know, what where we at in prophecy, man. Okay. And we in a time with a great transition of power, man. Okay, to Yahushua. So this beast system, okay, is set for a fall, man. Yahushua is about to come conquer this beast system, man. Okay. So Lord will you brothers, you know, you few sisters edified, you know, until next time I say Shalom, Kwon Yasha Allah, Abba Ball, DTA soon. Shalom.